Let's have a photo. It'll keep my mum happy.
HMS Northumberland is a cutting-edge Royal Navy frigate.
Red 150. Inbound, height 180 feet.
Where 200 sailors live and work.
Hi Jacob, hello Chloe, this is Daddy speaking.
Heading to the Arctic Circle.
Oh wow, absolutely stunning.
In some of the worst conditions imaginable.
I was getting continually smashed by waves. It was unsafe, frankly.
We've got to get on top of it. Worst cases, things could explode.
Our cameras have been given access to HMS Northumberland's secret 4-month deployment. At a time of unprecedented pressure from the Russian military.
Russian bear is inbound at red 160.
It's a big ass aircraft.
I hold one Russian surface vessel at the bearing of 275.
Northumberland must defend the UK from enemies who are visible.
She is a strange-looking ship.
And hidden.
Side by side, we're submarine guys, but we are V close.
If we go to war, quite simply, it's too late.
And the crew must protect each other.
However you're feeling doesn't make you any less of a sailor.
We have taken aboard our ship.
What?
From the perils of life at sea.
Casualty, casualty, casualty! Go to me!
Coming up.
Boom. I've never been this close to this class of ship before.
One of Russia's most dangerous warships threatens one of the UK's most secret military bases.
Faslane is the home of the Trident nuclear military. So if you don't tell them to stop, they'll keep on going.
I feel myself getting worse every minute.
I've lost my sense of smell.
And the crew face a terrifying new enemy.
When the going gets tough, we have to crack on. We can't just stop, we can't just run away.
HMS Northumberland is 65 miles off the coast of Ireland.
Literally, get on your hands and knees, clean on deck edges.
It's been one of the ship's busiest ever deployments.
Do you want the next saying?
Yes,
Seniors.
Down in the galley, Captain Tom Hobbs is escaping the pressure of command.
That has got a kick.
I would go for the Rogan Josh myself. A nice bit of garlic to kick it off.
He's lending a hand with the most popular menu of the week.
Ships have curries on different nights. We have it on a Wednesday night. We're doing korma, Rogan Josh, Madras, bargies. It's one of the meals that we measure the week by. So fish and chips on Friday, steak on a Saturday, roast on a Sunday.
Curry night is one of the galley's busiest shifts, requiring special ingredients and hours of preparation.
Well, we're chefs. We're here to put out the best food possible, because if we don't put out good food, then everyone gets a bit grumpy.
How are we doing for bargies? Being a chef on a warship is unrelenting. Cooking all of it, nearly all from scratch. 600 meals a day, every day.
I think I'm going to get that no rest for the wicked tattooed next.
Where's your blue roll?
I'll get you that.
So I'll do it. I'm entirely...
Pinching that job off me as well. Your own job.
Yep. I've got nearly 200 people on board. And if I don't understand my people, if I don't look after them, I might as well not even go to sea. You have to be able to understand your people before you can do anything else. And if you look after your people, they will do great things.
Yeah.
Welcome anytime. Happy days. Right, cheers team, I'll see you around.
Oh, it's really hot.
Yeah, I chose the world's hottest curry.
Come in, come in.
Back in his cabin, the captain has received new intelligence about Moscow's latest plan to put pressure on the Royal Navy.
There's been developments in 6 hours or so. There's a Russian destroyer coming down to the Irish Sea towards the UK, and we don't know why. Which is unsurprisingly raised some eyebrows.
This time, a Russian warship has been reported 75 miles off the Western Isles of Scotland. Its current course runs worryingly close to Faslane, the most secure military base in the UK and the home of Trident nuclear missiles.
This looks like an entirely coordinated process by Russia. The mission is about protecting the Trident nuclear missiles. What they're doing is unprecedented. The Cold War never really stopped at sea. We have certainly seen an increase in their activity, and they have become more strident, more assertive. Thus, what we need to do is to make sure that we work hard to defend our homeland. Thank you very much. Cheers, team.
Northumberland's now been ordered east to find the Russian warship and block its path before it gets too close to Faslane.
Make sure you've got enough layers on, 'cause it'll be quite cold up there.
Up on the flight deck, a new member of the crew is about to be put through her paces.
This is my first ship that I've been posted on with the Navy. So this is my first time being winched in a helicopter. It's actually my first flight in a helicopter at all.
Jen Robinson is taking over as the new ship's doctor and is now going to be suspended from a helicopter.
You wear this around your right-hand side, and should you get submerged, and that'll give you like up to 2 minutes of breathing there.
She's training to deal with medical emergencies at sea, whenever and wherever they happen.
As a doctor, it's important that I'm comfortable doing this, so that if the ship receives a distress call from another ship or a fishing vessel and they have someone who's injured on board, it means that the crew can take me onto the helicopter and I can be winched down to be able to provide emergency medical care.
Red Claw, Airborne Port. I'll be your for a visual section.
Being a doctor on a warship will be a completely new challenge for Jen.
It's quite different to being a GP in that you're covering all the specialities, so it's like you're dealing with some emergency medicine, but obviously there's a lot more occupational hazards here than you generally have ashore. So there's lots of opportunities for people to hurt themselves.
Hopefully we won't have any casualties that we have to do this for in real life.
A bit nerve-wracking. It would be nice to watch someone else go up first, I think. No volunteers?
Still awaiting our passengers. Brown, do you want to go down again? Yeah, happy, mate, happy.
Hey.
Happy to go off, come.
Definitely down.
Got a first up. There's a bit of pitch and roll. Decks all over the place. If we have a catastrophic failure, I'll bring you back. Steady, you're in a good position. Go for it now. 3, 2, 1. Back any 2, back any 2. Clear of the deck, go back and left, 7 o'clock. Good position. Good position. Raising the hoist.
If Jen does this again, it'll be for real, with a sick patient.
And now she's in the door. She's happy. Into her seat. That's her lap strap on.
That is UK. That is international waters.
HMS Northumberland is entering the Irish Sea, on the lookout for a Russian warship.
Can we see them?
Not yet, sir.
Still looking, nothing visual. No, nothing visual.
Down in the ops room, the team on the radar are also scouring for the Russians.
1 distance, 5 nautical miles, all ports on group by 2.
All positions PWO report suspect 2378.
They've spotted something.
All positions APSI investigate unknown 3552, bearing 151.
I'm associating Admiral Kulikov and ties in with intelligence picture.
It's the Vice Admiral Kulikov, one of Russia's most advanced warships. It's less than 10 miles away and still heading towards Faslane.
Okay, so let's have somebody closed off on the cameras now. We found her.
Kulikov on the horizon.
Northumberland must now try to stop the Russians getting any closer to the home of Britain's nuclear deterrent.
In a really good place to intercept it.
She's just there.
HMS Northumberland is on the tail of a Russian warship that's heading dangerously close to the home of Britain's nuclear Trident submarines.
It's quite a good-looking ship, actually. I've never been this close to this class of ship before. So I think the Russians call her an anti-submarine destroyer. Jane's warships has got every single navy and every single ship. There's the Kulikov, a large anti-submarine ship. Lots of missiles and guns, twice the size of me.
Just a few miles off the coast of Scotland, it's extremely rare for a Russian warship to get this near to Faslane. The Kulikov is one of Moscow's most advanced, capable of scanning the area for British nuclear secrets.
What's she doing now?
So she's just made an alteration of course.
Okay, can we follow her around?
Altering 200.
They will take as much as they can until someone draws a line and forces them to stop. So here I am drawing a line saying that you don't get to be near the UK without being followed.
All positions, P will have one down that bearing, continue to investigate.
They're operating in areas where our submarines would normally operate, so if they got too close, we would have to certainly start with the verbal warnings to tell them essentially keep away.
She's going to wheel over about there. That will be her nav track.
The captain needs to find a way to stop the Kulikov in its tracks.
Range at 3 miles.
Yeah, intent now is we're going to close up to about a mile. Can we close at maximum 4, please?
He's decided to speed up
Half so much speed, we're going to cruise 20 knots.
Project 20 knots.
and sail straight for them.
The message that the Russians are getting back in their fleet headquarters will be, doesn't matter where you go, the Royal Navy will meet you at sea and stay there with you. So if you don't tell them to stop, they'll keep on going.
Do you want to have a look through that now?
Yeah, that would be great, actually.
Having completed helicopter training, Northumberland's new doctor Jen Robinson is in more familiar territory, down in sickbay.
It's going pretty well. I feel like I'm settling into things now and sort of figuring out what my daily routine looks like.
One thing I just wanted to check, actually, with the meds we've got in here for MIPS, are they duplicated over here? This is the first time that I've been on this type of ship, so where everything's stored and exactly what equipment we've got kind of like varies from place to place. So it's just kind of getting to the grips of that whilst I've still got Dave here to ask all the questions.
The lidocaines up there and in the fridge as well if you need it.
Jen is taking over from the old ship's doctor, Dave Ochiltree, although she only qualified a few months ago.
Quite junior. I used to working in an environment where we've got lots of other doctors, nurses, and consultants around to be able to ask for help, whereas when you're out at sea, I'm the only doctor on this ship.
Make sure nothing goes missing. But 50-50, if you do ever need anything in there, that should be more than enough to get you going for a few hours.
Okay. You're also on call 24 hours, so someone could come wake me up at any time for anything. So, yeah. I've always got to have my clothes laid out ready to throw straight on if that happens. You never know when an emergency is going to happen.
Passport 225. Don't close them any closer than 1 mile.
HMS Northumberland is almost on top of the Russians.
Copy.
For safety, the captain should keep well away from other ships. But this close to Faslane, normal rules don't apply.
They're now at 1 mile.
So I want to stay here as long as possible. I want to leave here the last safe moment.
With Northumberland uncomfortably close, all eyes are on the Kulikov.
It's warship 66. Keep safe distance no less than 2 nautical miles. Over.
The captain of the Kulikov is making contact.
Russian warship, this is British warship at Foxtrot 23, over.
Also 238, keep safe distance no less than 2 nautical miles from my ship. Over.
Just 18 miles from the UK mainland, the Russians are telling Northumberland to back off.
Warship 66, this is a British warship, Foxtrot 238, that is understood. So it's my intention to maintain safer and professional distance from you.
Roger. Over.
Be aware, Captain. Yeah, I've just had a conversation with Vice Admiral Kulikov over VHF channel 16. He asked me to maintain at least 2 nautical miles. I responded and said I will conduct myself in a safe and professional manner.
East of 15.
For the moment, Northumberland is retreating.
Take the ship in hand, get 225. Check quarters. Altering 100, weather correct.
But she's now in the perfect place to protect Britain's nuclear submarine base.
We've got the ship in a good position, and we're effectively blocking the Kulikov so they can't get any closer to Faslane. But there's now an opportunity to see what they're really up to.
The captain's agreed to keep his ship well away from the Russians, but he made no promises about the Merlin helicopter.
Action Merlin, action Merlin.
Flight observer Luke Maciejewski has been flying for nearly 10 years and is an expert in military reconnaissance.
The Merlin is one of the primary sensors for our mission. It's an asset where we can leave the ship and in doing so obtain intelligence.
This is Luke's first chance to get up close to one of Moscow's most dangerous destroyers.
Well, it's important to understand the capabilities of the enemy so that, God forbid, we do go to war, then we have all the information we have to be able to fight effectively. Because quite simply, if we don't know anything about the enemy, then it's too late.
Right, let's get nice and close to the Kulikov, please.
During the imagery collect, we're content to use the transmit on at 997. Collect 20 Quebec.
With its state-of-the-art cameras and sensors, the Merlin is Northumberland's best chance of uncovering what the Kulikov is up to on Faslane's doorstep.
Take a seat, fill in the paperwork.
Down on 2 deck, Executive Warrant Officer Darren Wallington is tackling recent orders from Navy Command.
We're carrying out COVID testing of the 100% of the ship's company. We're quite ahead of schedule. We got most of the junior 8s through this morning, but we weren't supposed to be doing the officers till about 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Royal Navy warships must now test their crews for coronavirus on a regular basis.
Go in, get some paperwork, then the medical team will take over.
Complete? Well, that's quite deep.
There's still quite a few to come through yet. Obviously, people on watch or who were off this morning that we've got to get through on the missed musters.
I am the senior non-commissioned officer on board. It's a very privileged role. I'm sort of the focal point for welfare. 34 years in the Navy, I'm the one who should be able to know how we can sort all kinds of issues, and that's what they rely on me for.
Officers. Can you make sure you do your hands, please, sirs? Like holy kins. Cheers, buddy.
Once today's tests are completed, the swabs will be flown back to the British mainland.
We'll be landing them on the helo either this afternoon, but probably more likely tomorrow. They'll be picked up there and they've got to be taken, I think it's to Salisbury, to the defence lab, to be tested, hopefully within 72 hours.
All done? Yep, do you need that? I take everything.
So far, the ship is COVID-free, but the lack of space and ventilation on board provide the perfect conditions for the virus to spread.
That's why these ones there.
What speed do you got there, tracked in? 11 knots. 11 knots, fantastic.
Alright, this is it, fellas, we're in position now.
200 metres above the Kulikov, the Merlin's crew want to find out everything they can about its weapons systems.
There it is, boys and girls.
Yep. If we open the door now, we can start getting lenses focus and stuff.
When you're ready.
Right, okay.
Nice, Admiral Kulikov.
Definitely a Uloy 1 with the double gun. Red deck. She's looking a bit orange.
Been out for a while.
166 days now. There's nice zoom in shots on any aerials, radar, zones, all the good stuff.
Let's have a look on IR.
Luke hopes the infrared camera will provide clues about what the Kulikov's up to, this close to the UK mainland.
There we go. We're looking at. Well, that's quite a good IR image. Oh, okay. So let's have a quick look at personnel on the bridge wings then.
I'll look at that, yeah. One person on the bridge. Great. There is.
It's like, oh, that guy there.
Yep.
Visual. Another individual on the starboard bridge wing.
Two of them.
Luke's picking up some interesting activity on the deck.
That black spot on the IR.
You can see warm objects being thrown over the side.
Oh yeah, visual.
The Russian crew are putting a number of heat-emitting objects into the water.
Please tell me you've got that shot.
Yeah. Whatever it is, now the back is there.
It's not clear what the Russians are dropping overboard, but with the Trident nuclear submarine base just a few miles away, they need to get these pictures straight back to the ship.
Let's go south.
HMS Northumberland's Merlin helicopter has uncovered fresh intelligence about Russian activity close to the UK.
Really distinctive, that red deck. All of that camera imagery has been downloaded, and we're just looking through it and putting it together. Everything in black is an infrared signature that's actually quite warm, so these are members of the Kulikov's ship's company. There we go, as it builds. There we go, and there's one over the side there.
A large number of mysterious objects have been dropped into the water by the Russian crew.
This guy here was a bridge lookout.
One on the other side as well.
Watch them hand them between each other.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's probably one up there as well. 8. There's about 15 that got thrown over.
Luke suspects they could be devices for listening in on Britain's nuclear subs, so needs to alert Navy Command.
We can package that all up and send it off to Defence Intelligence, and we'll see what we get back from it. But ultimately, we saw some objects being thrown. We don't know. What we do know is it was thrown about 18 miles away from UK mainland. Promise. Thanks, mate.
£10.30, please.
Thank you very much, mate.
Down on 2 deck, the ship's only shop is open for business.
Thank you. This is the Navy canteen. We supply basically whatever the Navy guys want, the chocolate, crisps, drink, toiletries, keeps them happy. Gives them a little perk and then go away and have a little break somewhere.
The NAFI is one of the more popular areas of the ship, but is only open for a few hours a day.
You know, the food's very good on board, but they still like their snacks in between long hours overnight. 90 pennies, please. Thank you very much. We carry some general medicines. If they got a headache or they want a quick flu remedy, like a cold, they come and buy it.
In the last 24 hours, these medicines have suddenly become popular.
Everyone's getting colds at the moment, so sales are going up a little bit. But hopefully they'll all feel better very soon. Good day. Just a pack of chocolate raisins.
Hi guys.
That's it. No, sir.
News about an outbreak of colds and flus on board has just reached EWO Darren, and he's come to check up down on the mess decks.
How was it in here?
A lot of people are ill.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're the worst affected mess if we're talking illnesses, I think.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, mine's quite bad. I've had a flu jab, all right?
Definitely not flu then. Fall over.
How you doing lurgy-wise down here?
Some of us are struggling.
A few.
About 20 odd people, I think.
This man looks like he might be suffering from the ship virus. I feel myself getting worse every minute as well.
Alright, shall we?
Okay.
Oh, I don't think it's so much a virus, just a bit of a cold. Problem is, tin box miles from anywhere, particularly when we're shut up like this. So there's not a lot of fresh air. There's people in the mess decks all the time. People's immunity, they just kind of become a little bit more susceptible, which is why a cold can get round the way it's got round.
How are we all? I've lost my sense of smell there.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably a good thing down here.
Elva 210 at 10.
The Russian Kulikov's path is still being blocked by Northumberland.
Off-watch, people.
Situation that we continue to escort the Admiral Kulikov, which is currently 2 miles on our starboard beam.
With concerns about its mission now growing, the Ministry of Defence has been alerted.
AC, people. That is stage 2 complete.
Whitehall is calling in backup to end the deadlock.
Someone with the defence finally shook the RAF and kicked them out of their 5-star hotel. 2 times RAF, fast jets, typhoons, and the Russian warship within the next 10 minutes. That is all.
The RAF has scrambled 2 jets from their base, 200 miles away.
Two RAF Typhoons to the south and southwest.
Aircraft visual red 160, tracking left to right.
Oh yeah, you can see him now.
Where? Circle Sport 225, 27 nautical miles, time on.
Height 360 feet.
That's low.
But the Russians are shitting all times.
The RAF jets are circling the Kulikov, trying to get them to back off and move away from the UK.
Part of the defence is showing people what we can do. So you're in our backyard and this is what we bring to play. They're not just dealing with a squadron of RAF Typhoons, they're dealing with the UK, and this is what the UK can do.
Right now in the Thames.
The show of strength is coming to an end. The jets need to refuel.
Typhoons now 2.5 miles and are outbound.
I imagine that was unexpected. They came in less than 10 minutes, which would be far inside of any kind of warning he would have received from his homeland.
As the jets head home, there's news from Navy Command.
Got 103 at 15 nautical miles.
Northumberland has been told to head north. Their face-off with the Kulikov is at an end. Another Royal Navy vessel will take Northumberland's place as she sets a new course for Norway.
Holy fuck.
The captain has received an update from the ship's doctor.
Good evening, Northumberland, commanding officer. We have COVID on board our ship.
What?
We know people have been ill, and lots of people have it. In terms of things that we can do, social distancing fundamentally doesn't work. Putting a mask on doesn't work. You'd have to take your mask off to sleep. And we keep on breathing the same air. However, there is probably value in us upping our cleaning routines. Fundamentally, we need to look after one another. And for the duration of us remaining at sea, we need to keep on doing that. There are now probably millions of questions running around your head about what happens next. What does this mean for all of us? I will give you the answers as quickly and as honestly as I can. That is all.
That's a bit of a joke.
It's killing folk, and we're just like, yeah, you've got it.
I've not told my wife yet. Not until we know more. It's going to be quite difficult for everyone.
I can control how I look after my people. I can control what we do inside the ship. So I'll control those things. Some small bugger of a virus, I don't get to control that. So this is going to be really quite hard work. We just need to keep on looking after one another.
Working and sleeping at such close quarters, it's impossible to socially distance or wear a mask all the time.
How many cases does it look like we've got on board at the moment?
Around 25. We've had quite a few people presenting with loss of taste and smell.
Not long after taking over as the new doctor, Jen has sick crew members queuing up.
So are we mustering the ones that are in the front compartment and the ones that are people presenting with symptoms, requesting paracetamol and other painkillers? But I think that there's quite a few people who haven't presented to sickbay who've got symptoms. So I think the actual number in reality is probably significantly higher than that. So at the moment we're trying to get an idea of what the big picture is, try and get around the whole ship's company and find out how many people have had symptoms, have ongoing symptoms.
We're cleaning and establishing 2-metre boundaries outside the mess. It's our grand plan to keep the people safe.
With just one shared air supply throughout the whole ship, there's little more the crew can do to protect themselves.
Everyone's just going to muck in as much as possible, to clean as much as possible.
No matter how much you clean, we're still all breathing in the same air. I'm still having 2 people sleep on top of me in the same mess with 26 girls, so there's only so much you can do, really.
Northumberland is now 175 miles off the coast of Norway.
We just need to figure out the worst case scenario.
In sickbay, Dr. Jen has barely slept.
Been up since 4 o'clock with a poorly patient. Most people who've had symptoms have felt pretty rotten, but haven't had any kind of alarming features, whereas the patient was a lot more unwell.
The condition of a young member of the engineering team is showing no signs of improvement.
I think he's been pretty unwell for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. And we're particularly concerned about his ability to breathe at the moment.
My biggest concern is work out how best to medevac him back to the mainland.
With no ventilators on board, the crew need a plan in case he deteriorates. But Northumberland's Merlin helicopter has been grounded.
The reason I'm not using my helicopter is my flight crew have been exposed to COVID, and thus there's an unknown impact upon their ability to fly.
Northumberland must find a new way to get the sick engineer ashore, fast.
We just need to all draw breath.
A patient seriously ill with COVID needs to be taken to hospital, but Northumberland's helicopter has been grounded.
People woke up to call hands as usual, but immediately followed by the ops officer telling them that we had to casually evacuate someone. And they don't need to know who it is, although I imagine that name will get around the ship. I have no doubt that this will confirm in some people's minds the worst fear, that their worst fear is perhaps realistic, and it has become realistic, and thus are a bit concerned. He's ill.
People scared?
Yeah.
It's vital they find a way to get the sick man off the ship.
So we're coming up with a contingency plan now.
Navigator Ryan Woodridge needs to solve the problem.
We had an initial plan to go into Norway, but it's looking like Norway and a civilian port is unlikely to accept us in if we've got confirmed COVID case and through the risk of transmission ashore, and there's no way to change that. So that's a real worry.
The next best option is to turn the ship around and head back towards the UK.
It's 2 metre rule, mate.
Sorry about your wait.
What time's this? Lovely.
So.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Down on 3 deck, Executive Warrant Officer Darren should be helping to manage the health crisis.
Day 3 in the small brother house. See it?
But as the oldest member of the crew, he's been ordered to shield in his cabin, which is about the size of a garden shed.
Yeah, the room service is nice, yeah, but especially with what's going on, my job, I should be the one out walking around, you know, checking everybody else is all right, helping make the important decisions, but at the moment I'm just stuck down here. I'm sleeping, eating, living down here 24/7. Can't get out, can't go anywhere. Absolutely gutted. It's my last deployment, last hurrah. Exactly the band playing and speeches I was expecting on the last one. This is the worst that comes out of COVID for me and my family. Do you know what? I'll take that. There's people that had a lot worse and probably still will.
HMS Northumberland has raced 150 miles south and is now in range of the British mainland.
We have requested for a search and rescue helicopter to come from shore to us. Rescue 163 will be with us at 0805.
Stand by. Let's get them done nice and safely.
Captain.
It's got visual on the aircraft. Steer
Thank you. I'm about to land an unknown helicopter with 2 unknown crew on the back of my ship, which is a fairly risky operation at the best of times.
The civilian pilot has never landed on the moving deck of a warship before.
Visual on the flight deck cameras.
But the COVID patient emergency leaves no other option.
So what they might do is come in and then just wait for the ship to judge that movement of pitch and roll.
What's our pitch and roll, please?
0 pitch, 1 degree roll.
Can you pass that? No pitch, 1 degree roll. Evacuating someone in this sense with a Coast Guard helicopter landing on the deck is extraordinarily rare. I would be surprised if I ever do it again whilst I'm in command.
So if they are holding there for a little longer than normal. Aircraft over the flight deck. Aircraft descending. Aircraft landed on deck. Personnel returning back to the aircraft.
The casualty is able to walk to the helicopter.
FDO captain, stand by for them to launch.
He'll be in a British A&E within the hour.
Well done, team. Rescue 163 Warship Northumberland, many thanks for your urgency and speed today. Safe flight. Over. Roger, and Warship Northumberland dropping 16 out. Our casualty has been taken by HM Coast Guard and he'll be landed into a hospital. So he's going to get the best possible care that he needs shoreside. So we have done everything we needed to do and could do, and then we got him off.
With over half the crew now sick, the captain has also started showing COVID symptoms. The heads of department are meeting to discuss if Northumberland can remain at sea.
We're not going to stop this going through the ship. It is absolutely through the ship. But what we've identified, there are certain people who we need to keep reasonably safe from illness, not least because only the captain and ops can put this ship alongside, because we need engines, we need officers watch on the bridge, we need other watch keepers. So we're trying to minimise movement, minimise that transmission, slow it down, all right? We have a number of people who are critical to safety on board. So that's from the captain down to people like the marine engineering officer, those who go and watch and make sure that the ship is safe at all times. The reality is there's not a lot we can do, but if we can bed people down and make sure that that movement is minimised, and so protect as many people as possible.
Northumberland, this is the Officer Watch. With the current COVID on board, ship's company is reminded to avoid traversing around the ship, especially if you are symptomatic. Where possible, remain within your mess decks or cabins. Stay safe. That is all.
In spite of their best efforts to keep Northumberland at sea, Navy Command is stepping in.
My operational commanders made the decision that actually the best thing we could do for everyone was to return home. To allow those people who were feeling horrible, and I was one of them, just to allow people to relax and let their bodies fight through a pretty grotty infection.
We have finished our ops tasking. As such, we have been released to return back home and to deal with the illness that's going around our ship. What going back home looks like, what quarantine looks like, needs to be played out. Our tasking is finished, but there's lots of questions yet to be answered.
That is it.
The captain has been told to set a course for home. Northumberland's deployment, cut short by over a month, is all but over.
I have never done 3 months like this in my naval career.
Hands to action stations, hands to action stations.
I have had so many challenges come in such quick succession.
Absolutely horrible up there.
That is massive. That is huge. It's the shortest deployment I've had, but I've had to really work hard for this one.
Okay.
The submarine crashed into our array.
These 3 unforgettable months have tested every member of Northumberland's crew.
It takes more than one person to fight a fire. It takes more than one person to deal with a steering gear breakdown. And it takes more than one person to find a submarine.
I have detected prop sub 7221. So we've got it.
Everyone wants to be in that operational moment. You want to be, where it's really crunchy and really exciting.
It's all a learning process in the Navy.
Oh shit.
I think I've grown into a salty sea dog now.
My time on board has absolutely confirmed I want to be at sea. Amazing. Absolutely stunning.
I quite look forward to not being stuck on 133 metres of a tin can. I want to go home. I miss my wife and kids, but I will soon get itchy feet about wanting to go back to sea.